All right, welcome. We all see planes in the sky, but have you ever stopped to think about what's really going on behind the scenes? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're diving deep into the world of modern aviation, and we're using the KPMG Aviation Leaders Report for 2026 as our roadmap. Let's get into it.
So it's no secret, the world is absolutely flying again. But here's the thing. The industry that gets us from point A to point B has been totally transformed. And that brings us to the big question for today. What is the true state of the skies right now in 2026?
Okay, let's start with the most familiar part of this puzzle, the airlines themselves. And what's so fascinating is that they are living in this strange paradox, a world that's filled with both intense, crazy challenges and, at the same time, unbelievable success. I mean, just look at this. It's like a tale of two completely different worlds. On one hand, you've got these major headwinds, things like geopolitical instability making everything uncertain, rising costs squeezing every last penny, and this thing the report calls tariff turbulence, all the economic chaos from trade disputes. But then, on the other side, you've got these incredible tailwinds pushing them forward. Revenues are strong, capacity is tight, meaning planes are full, and people are willing to pay top dollar for premium seats. It's a real tug of war. So what happens when you're caught between these two powerful forces? Well, you get creative. Fast. Airlines are totally rethinking how they do business. They're restructuring their operations and just finding clever new ways to compete and stay profitable in this totally new landscape. Now let's peel back another layer. The companies that actually build the planes. With all this demand, you'd think they'd be churning out new aircraft like crazy, right? Well, they are trying, but they've slammed right into a massive bottleneck. And here's the story of why your next flight might be on an older plane than you'd expect. It all starts with airlines placing a record number of orders. Awesome, right? But then, bam, production hits a wall. There's a persistent shortage of engines, and that one problem sends shockwaves down the entire supply chain, leading to all sorts of fragility and even quality control issues. And the end results? Those shiny, new, super efficient planes everyone's waiting for? They're seriously delayed. And believe me, this isn't just some minor inconvenience. The report puts it perfectly. The result is this collision of rising demand with slower fleet renewal. It's created a system that is, and I quote, still struggling to recover fully. So the whole system is feeling this incredible strain. But here's where it gets really interesting. While the airlines and the manufacturers are navigating all this turbulence, there's one part of the industry that's having a moment. I'm talking about aircraft leasing. And this is a huge piece of the puzzle that's literally changing who owns the planes we all fly on. So what is aircraft leasing exactly? It's actually a pretty simple concept. Instead of an airline dropping hundreds of millions of dollars to buy a plane outright, they just pay a leasing company to use it for a while. You can basically think of it as the world's most sophisticated and, highest stakes rental agreement. And just how big a deal is this? Well, get this. If you thought airlines owned most of their fleets, think again. Today, the leasing companies, the lessors, own the majority of the world's commercial aircraft. We're talking 55%. That's a massive fundamental shift in the entire economic model of aviation. And it looks like the good times are going to keep rolling for the leasing sector. I mean, the report points to a perfect storm of positive factors. Lease rates are going up, new planes are finally starting to be delivered again, and airlines are still desperate for more aircraft. You add in new ways to get capital and a better economy, and it's a boom time. Okay, so let's zoom all the way out to our final layer, the money. How on earth does a multi-trillion-dollar global industry pay for all these new planes, all the new routes, all the new technology? The scale here is, well, it's almost impossible to comprehend. To keep up with manufacturing and get new planes in the air, the industry needs over $100 billion in new capital every single year. That is just an immense amount of money that has to come from somewhere. And to get that kind of cash, the old rules of finance just don't apply anymore. The report highlights some huge trends. There's much stricter financial discipline, for one. We're also seeing a deeper pool of high-quality funding and the rise of really sophisticated financial tools, like asset-backed securities, which is just a fancy way of bundling up aircraft loans and selling them to investors. The bottom line is the money side of aviation is becoming just as innovative as the engineering side. And this whole evolution isn't just happening on a spreadsheet somewhere.
The report actually features insights from the leaders across the industry, the actual people who are the architects of this new financial world, the ones figuring out how to write those $100 billion checks year after year.
So, when you put it all together, you see an industry navigating these huge challenges, but also seizing incredible opportunities. It really makes you realize, as aviation changes at lightning speed, the big question isn't just where we'll be able to fly next. It's how the entire system of flying, from who builds the plane to who owns it to who pays for it, is being completely rebuilt right before our very eyes.